Could you ever imagine what it would be like if you ever got married in high school? But not just to anyone, but especially to the person whom you really hate. This is a story called I'm getting married to the girl I hate in my class. It's revolving around two main characters called Saito and Akane, whose grandparents, for many reasons during their lifetime, they couldn't be with each other although they were in love, and they had to accept some arranged marriage. And so, in order to be reunited afterward, after their parents died, they just thought that if our grandchildren are together, then that makes it much easier and much more logical for us to meet. So, this is the beginning of it, but you have to keep in mind that Akane and Saito have very different lifestyle. They are known to be the greatest enemy in their high school, and it's very unlikely in the eyes of everyone that they both would ever get along or have a decent conversation. The other characters that you will see also on the opening are Shise, who is like short, gray-haired loli. Basically, she's like a very close cousin for Saito, and almost like sister. And then you have the other character is Himari, who's best friend of Akane since they were kids, and also she's kind of in love with Saito. So these are the four main characters for the whole story, but also we will see how, although they were forced into this situation because they were practically threatened into it, like they have a very interesting and beautiful chemistry that I'm enjoying. And another point I really like to emphasize is how they overuse the chibi versions of them when they are fighting or when they are bickering, and I find that extremely cute. Like, I know that in animation, especially old ones, sometimes they use it occasionally to emphasize a comical point, but here it's used very often, and I like it. Like, I don't find it extra or annoying or anything. So hope you give it a chance. Some of you might have already read the manga of Honey Lemon Soda. Others might have watched the movie, the live action, which was, I think, fairly good. Like, it had a great portrayal of the characters and overall of the story. Like, not all the arcs, but to a certain extent they covered a really big chunk of it. And now we have an anime! After so many years, after we lost hope that they would ever give it an anime, now we have one for Honey Lemon Soda. I have a side question here. Have you ever tried lemon soda? Do you like drinking lemon soda? Because if you do, I feel like even though you are watching colors and characters, the taste will be in your mouth, and I love picturing that while watching it. So, to make it as simple as possible, this is another story with bullied heroine, very stoic personality. She gets even called stone. Of course, that would result in very low self-esteem and very bad, social interaction, communication skills in general. Luka somehow gets saved by a guy named Miura. Miura looks like punk. He looks like somebody who doesn't abide by the rule. He's an extremely popular guy. He's not necessarily kind of compassionate to everyone, but everyone loves him and everyone is by his side somehow because he's handsome and he's popular and they trust in him, and that's it. It feels like a guy who's so immature but at the same time trying to give help. Not always the best formula, but I guess has been doing his best. And because he got involved with Uka, her life got so much better actually. Another crucial point that I would like to highlight here regarding why you absolutely should be watching Honey Lemon Soda is because of the opening song and the ending song. Both of them have really hyper pop vibes, very positive. They are fun. Even the ending song actually has a TikTok trend dance, in case you want to practice that. And you see a lot of popular Japanese celebrities or influencers or even regular people, they are also practicing it. It's a duo dance, but probably there is also a solo version if you want to try that. The songs are by a group called N Team. The opening is called Magic Hour, and also the ending song is by the same band called N Team. The song is called Wonderful World, and both of them are so amazing. Did you ever watch the season 1 of My Happy Marriage? If you did, then you are in for a second season. If you didn't, I'll give you a small summary of the story. My Happy Marriage is a romance story set up in traditional Japan, so historical setting, with a bit of supernatural abilities. So this is what you are signing up for. And the main story is revolving around Mio, who is actually the daughter of a really influential and almost extinct family called the Usuba family, but she has been raised for a long while by her stepmom and her stepsister, and they were bullying her, and she was mistreated for a very long time. So as you can imagine, she had led the life like a slave until she was 17 or 18, and she has extremely self-low esteem, and she absolutely has no idea about her origins or her hidden powers. And the story of the first season starts when she actually meets her potential fiance, Kyoka, who's renewed to be a very scary and also ruthless general who would absolutely treat no woman right according to the remorse. And here their connection, like their combination, like Kyoka and Mio, is what really makes you believe that happy weddings may exist somewhere in the world. So, I mean, I have no words to describe their chemistry because it's extremely beautiful and it's healing. This healing is not only for Mio herself, who had suffered from bullying and degradation for a long period of her life, but also Kyoka, who was extremely strict on himself. And I'm not gonna spoil you about what happened in season 1, but season 2 is gonna focus more on the background story of who is the Usuba family, who are the remaining members, and again more fluff moments between Kyoka and Mio, which I really enjoyed. But I have been hooked to the first opening of the first season, and the second opening of the second season was also another banger. Like, I wasn't disappointed. I'm so proud of them for putting in the right effort, the animation, the coloring, everything. I'm falling in love with you. This is the title of a new shoujo anime. What grabs your attention at first is the opening Make It Count by ENI. Also the fact that it is a reversed harem. A very important point about this show, it was the time lapse that was going on from the beginning till the end of each episode, and then the same thing happens in the next episode. What do I mean by this? Well, typically speaking, usually in shoujo anime, you have the characters going through their childhood, teenagerhood, and then you have them in their adulthood, and it all goes through phases. However, in this particular anime, you see at first the main heroine Mizuho when she's a working adult, carrying on with her life. Clearly, she's not as much connected to other people as we assume she would be later on. And then the rest of the episode takes on part of her high school life, like shows her high school life. And the next episode, it's like gives you follow up of what happened on that day while they are working. And after the opening, it goes back into another part of their high school memories. So I find this really interesting. It's quite different from everything else I have experienced so far, and also it gives me a lot of questions. It sort of makes the plot much more interesting than whatever it is, because in the end of the day, this is a shoujo anime. We all know what happens in shoujo anime. Like, the events are not gonna be something that is beyond our imagination in most of the cases, but the way they kind of show you her attitude and behaviors while she's an adult, and the way she speaks about her youth and her high school days, and then they reverse back and shows us how like happy, nonchalant, careless, stressed, and satisfied she was as a high schooler, is not only relatable but also gives us like a lot of questions and creates a sentiment of fear and worry, like what's gonna happen. I have a bad feeling about this. For me, it sort of reminded me strongly of Orange. If you know the manga Orange, there is a live action. There's also an anime called Orange. It strongly reminded me of that, except that we know for sure in this series there is no time machine sending you back, or there is no letter from your future self. Although I'm a big fan of Unnamed Memory Season 1, I kind of have my doubts about enjoying this Season 2 as much. For very good reasons. First of all, because the opening song was not as catchy as the first season, and also because I'm interested indeed into the new dynamic where it's not Tinasha always overprotecting Oscar, but Oscar doing the opposite in the second season, especially with the fact that the history changed, especially with this sort of memory deleting thing, whatever. But I'm wondering if I would appreciate as much, because the main point that I really loved about season 1 is the dynamic between Oscar and Tinasha, and how Tinasha was kind of not only playful, but I would say she never ever gave in her feelings until somewhere in the middle of the story, while in the second season it starts off with her having a lot of guilt and sort of missing the old version of Oscar and being able to accept the newer version where he never ever met her. So I don't know how to feel about it. Like, honestly, I hope that he gains back his memory pretty soon and we start off from where he left. But even if he never ever gained back his memory, I think the point here is that he's gonna fall in love with her over again, but she's not as strong as feisty as she used to, because all those 400 years of sleeping through things. I know this sounds like spoilers, they are absolutely spoilers, but you will not get them. You will not get anything I'm saying right now until you watch the show and until you really know what I'm speaking about to begin with. So I hope you enjoyed the second season. Please let me know what you thought about it so far. I still need to catch up with a few more episodes because I only tried a couple first episodes so far. Season 2. When was the last time you have watched a Josei anime and was like, finally something that is not made for high schoolers? Well, aside from My Happy Marriage, which are adults, I mean young adults, most of the time we don't get as much animation adaptations from modern stories to adult characters, and that's something we have lacked for a very long time. I'm fairly proud that they have adapted the one which called I Have a Crush at Work. And like whatever the name is saying, it's not just a crush. It's literally this woman, she has a boyfriend at her work from another department. And having this hidden office romance because things can get fairly complicated and annoying when people realize the person you are dating is just few blocks away or just another floor below or something like this is very understandable, but it's also thrilling. As far as I know, this doesn't have a censored and uncensored version. This is just the Josei anime. It means you're not gonna get anything above. So, is it as bad as 365 Days Till Marriage that was released last season? No. Is it as good as Wotaku or The Ice Guy and Cool Female Colleague? Maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but it has its own flavor. That's what I would call it. Like, this story is cute Josei. It's about two green flags couples. They have a great chemistry between them, and it's absolutely enjoyable. I mean, unless you are looking for something deep with a very complicated story, probably you're gonna still enjoy this one. It doesn't have anything you would wreck your head over, but it's absolutely fun. I think the quality was fairly good. I have no complaints about it.